Italian date night recipes, forget about it. So what we're gonna cook is a whole Italian roasted branzino, super fucking good. Lemon garlic roasted chicken, super good too. And a lentil mushroom bolognese. For you plant-based folks out there, this is perfect for you. And our bucket of bread, cheesy garlic knots, super tasty. Bucket of Bread too is a veteran-owned business, Army vet Chris Wysong, who I spoke to on my Veteran Foodie podcast. I'll link it in the description of this video. You can check it out along with some other veteran-owned businesses on there. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy this. I'm gonna teach you a lot of time management as well. This whole meal together takes you about 45 minutes to an hour tops. We're gonna be cooking it all at the same time. Our lentil bolognese, that's gonna take the longest. We're gonna start cooking that first and lead into everything else. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a like on the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on your notifications for more. Bucket of Bread is a veteran-owned business. Army vet Chris Wysong created this Bucket of Bread product. I really wish we had in the Coast Guard back when I was a night baker. Making dough is not rocket science, but it's kind of a pain in the ass. This makes it a hell of a lot easier, especially for the home cook. So all we need is the Bucket of Bread dough mix, which is all organically sourced ingredients, lukewarm water, a KitchenAid mixer. You can do it by hand, but it's gonna take you about 10 minutes. All we're gonna do is combine these two into this, mix it up, knead it just a little, form it into a ball, throw it back in the bucket, let it rest with a lid jar for about 2 to 3 hours at room temperature. It's gonna proof nicely, and then it's up and ready. All you gotta do is pop it right in the oven. You can roll it up into little dough balls. I'm gonna make some garlic knots out of it. Enjoy it. All right, once our pan is hot, we're gonna throw in some extra virgin olive oil. I'm gonna use about a tablespoon and a half or so. We're gonna throw our mirepoix mixture in. I can barely say it. I usually go a little heavier on the onion, it's up to you, but basically it's an equal part onion, celery, and carrot, all diced up, nice and neatly. You wanna hear that nice sizzle? That means it's sauteing. We're gonna throw in a little bit of salt as well. Give it a little stir. Let it saute about a minute or two. We wanna start cooking this lentil mushroom bolognese first because while this cooks down, everything else can cook alongside it. So this will take about 35 to 45 minutes or so, depending on how long you want it to stew. But I usually set mine about 40, 45 minutes or so. It should do the trick. But basically while this is cooking down, everything else during this meal can start cooking down as well. So by the time this is complete, the main component of the dish, everything else will be. Should work out pretty well. Now we're gonna throw in our nice chopped garlic, chopped mince, whatever you're feeling. Now it's really gonna smell nicely in my house. All right, next we're gonna throw in our nice sliced mushrooms. I love mushrooms. I could eat them plain like this. Super tasty. Absorbs flavors really well too. I'm gonna hit it with a little more olive oil and a little more salt. Now don't worry if stuff starts sticking to the bottom of the pan a little. You can turn the heat down a little bit, but the wine and the acid in the tomatoes are gonna suck all that up anyway, so don't worry about it too much. Our fresh chopped thyme. In cooking school, honestly, I didn't know what the hell thyme was when I first joined cooking school. I only remembered what it was because I was like, all right, this takes a lot of time to peel. That's how I remembered. So if you don't remember what thyme is, it takes a long time to peel off the little stems. I don't know. Help me. Hopefully you're smarter than me though. All right, next, my favorite canned tomatoes, San Marzanos. We're gonna use some crushed tomatoes here. We got what is this, a 14.5 ounce can? Should work well. Now important trick, make sure you close the lid to your can and you crush it a little. I've had many fucking big ass garbage bags split in half on the Coast Guard ship back when I was cooking the Coast Guard. Split in half, fall down the ladder well and cause a huge mess. So
just tuck it in, and you know you're gonna save your finger too. In case it slices through the bag, you'll hurt yourself or somebody in your family. Let's just not do that. All right, now we're gonna throw in our fresh parsley, our fresh chopped parsley. We're gonna throw in some nutritional yeast, which I love for the nice cheesy effect without the dairy. Mix that in. Nutritional yeast kind of got like a nutty flavor, you know? Works really well to make things have that cheesy taste without actually being cheese. We're gonna squeeze some lemon in it. And don't be an idiot like me and drop a seed in. Make sure you hold your hand under it. All right, I got a bottle of white wine from the store. To be honest, I've never had this one, but the label looked kind of cool. As my grandma says, when you're cooking, have a sip for yourself. All right, that's actually pretty good. And then pour the rest in. That's going to give it a nice little taste there. Now we're going to add in our water as well. You could use veggie stock too if you wanted, but I don't have any on hand, and water sounds pretty good. By the time this lentil mushroom bolognese is fully cooked, the rest of our meal should be cooked as well. And that's what cooking's all about. It's all about timing. Proper time management is key to a successful meal. Whether you're cooking on a big ship for a bunch of salty sailors like I was, or you're in your home cooking for your family, right? People want to eat on time. If they don't eat on time, they're going to get cranky. It's not going to be a fun dinner. So let's feed people on time, you know? All right, once this mixture comes to a nice simmer, we're going to add in our lentils. So probably another couple minutes or so, but it's getting there already. All right, now our mixture is coming to a simmer, so we're going to add in our lentils. I just use these little green ones, but whatever you got should be fine. Make sure it's stirred in nicely. Now we need the lentils to cook, so this might be, 15, 20 minutes or so, maybe a little longer, depending on what temperature you want to cook it at, but I'm going to leave it just below a simmer. It's smelling great. And give this a little taste test too, and see where your flavor profile is at right now. I'm just eating this with my wife and I, so I'm going to taste test it from the serving spoon. Don't tell her. Well, it's good besides the crunchy ass lentils that aren't cooked. I'm gonna add a little more salt to mine. Salt is one ingredient that really brings out the flavor and everything else you're cooking together. It's kind of wild. Like even a teaspoon or two of salt can drastically increase the flavor of whatever you're cooking. Now keep in mind too, at this stage, the bolognese, it's gonna taste a little dialed down or watery. But once it cooks more and reduces down, the flavor is really going to come out a lot more because we got all these nice fresh ingredients in here. So it's impossible for it not to taste delicious. Now we're going to let it go for about, like I said, 15-20 minutes or so. By that time, everything else should be cooked. And we're going to make sure to cover it as well. As you can see, we got some beautiful branzino right here. Whole branzino, it's about a pound or so. I got it cleaned out by our fishmonger, local guys, Fish Tales. Super nice spot. So we're gonna make this Italian style. So we're gonna roast it at 400 degrees for about 25-30 minutes or until it's 135. We're gonna take it out at 135, let it temp up to 145. During that period, that carryover cooking time, 10-15 minutes or so, we're gonna finish off our garlic knots and anything else we got cooking for this meal. So we got our fish out, it's nice and cleaned, right? We're gonna give it an extra rinse, whatever it's been sitting in, right? Any blood or whatever. We wanna dry it off. We want it nice and dry, so just pat it dry, nothing too crazy. Pat the inside too. It's just gonna absorb everything a little easier, basically. Put it on a sheet pan with a rack, just so it gets a nice cook underneath it as well when we put it in the oven. Now we're gonna coat it with some olive oil. Use a good amount. Don't be shy with olive oil. Now rub it in nicely. Use a little brush too. Really get it everywhere. Make sure you get the inside as well. This is going to help it, everything marinate nicely, basically. Make sure you hit it with both sides. I remember in the Coast Guard, every once in a while, I'd forget to, or maybe it wasn't forgetting, maybe it was me being lazy. So I'd be cooking off some sheet pan veggies or something. I'd only season one side without like shifting it all together, you know? Get called out every fucking time by our chief warrant officer. Good dude, called me out for a good reason, but it happens, you know? So let's not do that. Hit it with both sides. All right, now we're gonna salt it. We're gonna salt everything just like we did with the olive oil. Nice and salty. Salt, more salt the better. Don't miss anywhere. You can literally eat this entire fish, the eyeballs, the tails, everything. So make sure it's nice and seasoned up. We're gonna hit it with some pepper as well. Try not to get your pepper too fishy. But if you do, just make sure you rinse it off. All right, now we're gonna stuff the inside first. So we're gonna stuff the inside with our sliced lemons. Turn it this way so you guys can see it. So we got a whole lemon sliced up here. We're gonna stuff the entire thing inside, as well as, see if it fits. Toss in a bunch of garlic, both sides. You're gonna get in there, you know? All this is gonna seep out all the flavor. It's gonna be really, really nice when it's all done. All right, we're gonna get our Parmesan cheese in here too. Do a good amount as well. Be nice and cheesy. It's just gonna taste really fucking good. Get some chopped parsley in here too. Same thing, both sides. It can be a little sloppy with it, doesn't really matter. It's all gonna cook together nicely. In the oven, it's all gonna be just seeping out into this fish and making it really flavorful. All right, we're gonna hit it with some garlic on the outside as well. This garlic will get a little crispy on the outside, which is really tasty. Really kicks it up a notch, you know? We're gonna hit it with some Parmesan cheeses. Oh shit. Try not to spill it all like I just did. Hit the outside of it as well. We're just gonna leave that Parmesan cheese there because we're gonna use it for this side, so who really gives a fuck, right? We're cooking in our own kitchen, who cares? All right, hit this side with some garlic as well. Yeah, we're gonna use our table Parmesan cheese. I think that's what it's called anyways, right? We're really gonna coat this bad boy. Basically, it's forcing my hand to use extra cheese than I was going to. Why not, right? Everybody loves cheese. All right, I'm gonna flip it back over. Make sure it's spread out pretty nicely. We're gonna hit the top a little bit with some Parmesan, or sorry, with some parsley. I'm all mixed up since I spilled my fucking Parmesan cheese. My grandma would probably chase me around with a wooden spoon if I did that in our kitchen. All right, we're gonna hit it with more cheese, table cheese. It's gonna be really tasty. All right, now we're gonna hit it with some squeezed lemon on the top. And that's gonna be really tasty. Get some on the bottom of the pan too here, you know? Steam it up a little bit. Little trick too, pour just a tiny bit of water in the bottom of your pan. So steam it up a little bit. All right, now we're good to go. It's all seasoned up. It's looking really good already. We're gonna cook it at 400 degrees. Remember, this is a pound Bronzino. So probably take about 25 minutes or so, 30 minutes tops. Depends what kind of oven you got and everything. But it's gonna be really tasty. It's gonna be really tender too. So it should be able to just peel right away, the skin and everything. All right, on to our lemon garlic chicken. One of my favorite simple dishes, nothing too crazy about it, besides how fucking amazing it tastes. So what we're gonna do here, take out your chicken breast. I got some bone-in chicken breast from a local butcher around here, Della Petra's in Brooklyn. Shout out to those guys, a bunch of old school Italian guys always yelling at each other and talking shit to each other. So kind of makes me feel like I'm back on the ship or like with my family or something. But anyway, super good meat. We're gonna take out the chicken about 30 minutes or so before we're gonna pop it in the oven so it comes up to room temperature. That's so it cooks a little more evenly. If the center of the chicken is too cold, it's not gonna cook as even as we would like it to. So we're gonna start off with some olive oil. We're gonna be pretty liberal with the olive oil, coat it nice. Coat the bottom as well, obviously. And now we're gonna season it up nicely with some salt and pepper. Keep it real simple, you know? Make sure the oil gets all over the bottom of this too, so you don't get the chicken sticking to the bottom of the pan. It's a pain in the ass to take off, as you know. I'm gonna finish peppering when I take off my gloves. All right, so we got a fresh chopped parsley. We're gonna season that up on the bottom, and we're gonna hit it with our fresh thyme. And of course, was some chopped fresh garlic, which is one of my favorite ingredients, as you can probably tell by now. I use garlic in just about everything. All right, now we're gonna squeeze in some lemon juice. We'll use the squeezer. All right, use about half of this for the bottom, half for the top, you know. Just make sure you coat it nice and liberally. Really get that nice acid flavor up in it. All right, same thing for the top side, obviously. Make sure to spread the seasoning around. If you can, always go with fresh herbs, obviously. Tastes a hell of a lot better. Just a little more salt. A little nice and salty. All right, rub it around nicely. Hit it with a little more oil. It's gonna be tasty. It already smells good. As good as raw chicken can smell, at least. All right, like I said, we're gonna take off our gloves and then hit it with a little more pepper. Makes a little more sense. You're probably smarter than me though. You probably didn't do the same thing I did. So we're gonna cook this at 400 degrees for about 30-35 minutes. I'm gonna pull it out at about 155 or 160 degrees Fahrenheit on the inside after I temp it. And that is because I'm gonna give it about 10-15 minutes to rise another 10 degrees or so to hit that 165 mark, which we need to eat chicken. That's called carryover cooking. It's really gonna help seal in those juices, makes it a lot tastier afterwards. And during that carryover time, we're gonna cook our pasta and we're gonna cook our garlic knots. So that way, our meal is done all at the same time. That lentil bolognese should be done right around that mark as well. And we're gonna be able to serve everything on time, as fresh as it can be and as hot as it can be. All right, let's see how we're looking here. Ooh. See how much that's cooked down already? We're gonna give it a good old taste. Oh, that's really fucking good. Number two, that flavor should be really strong because it's going on top and mixed into pasta. That pasta is gonna absorb it a little bit. It's not like you're just eating straight spoonfuls of the bolognese, so it should be nice and overpowering. It's gonna be really fucking good. All right, we're gonna boil our water and salt it. We salt the water for the flavor, and we're gonna cook our pasta until it's al dente or firm to the bite. Now that our water is boiling, we're gonna boil this pasta until it's al dente. I'm doing about 2 servings worth, since this is a dinner for 2. One surefire way to make sure your pasta doesn't stick is to keep stirring it as soon as you add it in, and stir it until the water comes back to a boil. All right, it's been a few hours now, 3 to be exact. I mean, look at that. Look at that dough. Beautiful. Rose up about double the size or so. I mean, it already smells great too, honestly. Also, after I let it proof, I put it in the fridge for about 30 minutes. Makes it a little less sticky to get it out, basically. I mean, look how easy that is to get out. You can keep this in your fridge for about 2 weeks and just pull and use willy-nilly whenever you need it, right? Oh, it's got a great consistency to it too. So we're gonna take out a couple, call it like a little smaller than a baseball sized balls, and then we're gonna make some garlic knots out of it. All right, we're gonna make 6. Put the bucket back in the fridge. All right, now the fun part. We're gonna roll them out nice. I'm just gonna hand roll it. Now, making this kind of shit on the ship, as you can imagine, a bunch of guys and salty girls in the kitchen. You can only guess what kind of dumb shit we made out of this kind of stuff. But we're just gonna make garlic knots out of this. Look how elastic that dough is too, it's nice. It's got a nice give to it. Pulls back. That's a good sign right there. Good stuff, Chris. There, we'll keep going a little further. All right, now we're gonna make something fun out of this. We're just gonna make some twisties. Super, super easy. Pinch it together at the end. Got a nice little twist to it. We're gonna slap it on the pan. We're gonna coat it up with oil and season them up. All right, now we've got our beautiful knot sticks rolled up, whatever you want to call them. We're gonna coat them really nicely with a bunch of olive oil. And make sure you get the bottom as well, obviously. Make sure it doesn't stick to the pan at all, but also make sure the entire piece of bread gets nice and crispy. All right, now we're gonna salt them up. Pepper. Lots of flavor. Hit them with a little bit of garlic. And don't worry, we're gonna rub the dough around in it afterwards, collect everything we missed too. I like a lot of garlic. More garlic the better. Hit it with a little bit of parsley, just a little. Just enough to get a little flavor while it's cooking. We're gonna toss it more, like I said, after it cooks. We're gonna flip and repeat. Soak up everything we missed. Now we'll have our knots in the oven while everything else for our meal is cooking. By the time these are done, everything else should be done. It's like a symphony in the kitchen. I'm excited. All right, we're gonna pop these in. All right, our garlic knots have been in the oven about 10 minutes now. Toss them in a nice big bowl like this. We'll do 3 at a time. Coat them with a little more olive oil. A good amount of Parmesan. A little more garlic. Some parsley. We're gonna toss them up a bit. Get them nice and coated. A little more cheese. More cheese the better. Just make sure everything's nice and coated with everything. We're gonna throw them in and have some nice cheesy garlic knots. All right, these garlic knots are looking pretty good now. Oh yeah. Cheese has a nice little crisp on it. All right, now time for our chicken. Oh man, it smells fucking amazing. It's got a really nice crisp on it as well, as you can see. Turn around for you. Ooh, that is juicy as all hell. All that clear juice running out, that is a good sign. It means it's well cooked. That is absolutely perfectly cooked. All right, our branzino should just be about done now. Oh man, it smells awesome in here. Whew, that is one tasty looking fish right there. All right, the bolognese is good. It looks delicious, it tastes delicious. Time to plate some up. Oops. It's really tasty and hearty dish. It's packed with protein too, which is nice. All the lentils, mushrooms, and other veggies in it. I wish you could smell what I'm smelling right now. It's gonna be really tasty.